Warning, this video contains raw and unfettered ape violence in the form of movie critiques. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, what's up, you filthy friggin' animals? HBO Max is on a rampage these days, boy, I'll tell ya. They're pumping out filth faster than I can even keep up with. Their latest visually stimulating, but mentally uninspiring cash grab is Mortal Kombat. Let it be said, I am no Mortal Kombat expert. I don't know much about the lore, and in fact, I'm what you'd refer to in the fight game as a filthy casual. What I'm not casual about, however, is wanting movies that aren't written so poorly that it distracts from any good elements that they bring to the table. In the case of Mortal Kombat, I found myself loving the fight scenes. They had a kind of savage brutality to them. It was quite reminiscent of John Wick. It's the kind of violence that appeals to creatures with aggressive inclinations such as apes. In addition to that, the actors that played Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Kano, they played their parts well. And the finishing kills, known as fatalities, were, in a word, exquisite. However, the true fatality in this movie was the storyline. So yeah, you know what time it is. Time for an ape attack! It starts off strong with a scene that takes place in feudal Japan where Hanzo, known as Scorpion, a famed ninja, is living the domesticated life. I feel you there, brother. When Sub-Zero comes in and murders his family, they tussle. Sub-Zero defeats him, and Hanzo goes to hell, which is a little worrisome. It seemed like he was a good guy, so we'll see where I end up. It's a very classic setup for what's going to be a great revenge story. It's all downhill from here, though, because the movie quickly devolves into a chaotic mess. Fast forward to modern times, and basically what's going on, and I'll probably butcher this because it's very unclear, is there's a tournament that happens every so often between Earth and other worlds. And if Earth loses, they will be enslaved. I have no idea who runs the tournament or why it's happening. Maybe the writers assumed everyone was coming into this with a baseline understanding of Mortal Kombat lore. In this version of the Mortal Kombat universe, you're a chosen champion if you were born with the mark, or you can obtain one by killing somebody that also has the mark. And if you have this mark, you're supposed to compete in this tournament. It also means you have a superpower too, which is called Arcana. But here's the catch. Your Arcana can only be unlocked through extreme focus and training. Or at least, that's what we're told in the beginning of the movie. But later, we'll find out that the writers will quickly deviate from this whenever it suits them. No one with this mark is safe. Sub-Zero is hunting them in order to eliminate Earth's champions, which would cause them to lose the tournament by default. One of Earth's champions, and the main protagonist in this story, Cole Young, is played by Lewis Tan. He's pretty much the Jorge Masvidal of the Mortal Kombat universe, in the sense that he's a washed-up MMA fighter. Let me tell ya, watching Lewis Tan try to bring the character of Cole Young to life was like watching CM Punk pretend to be an MMA fighter. Both men were unbelievably unfit for the role they tried to play. There's a whole 10 minutes where he's hanging out with some teenage girl, and I'm trying to figure out if Chris Hansen from NBC Dateline is about to walk in and bust him.
Sit, please.
Turns out it's just his daughter, but you'd have no idea because neither of them convinced the audience that they were related. So it's not long before Sub-Zero comes after him, so he decides to drop his family off to get them out of danger. And then he joins the squad to train and unlock his Arcana. After a few days trying and failing, he decides to go back to his family, thus re-endangering them. Pretty dumb considering he just left them in an attempt to keep them safe. But this is a common pattern. The whole movie was full of stupid inconsistencies like this. This wizard or god or something named Raiden is an all-powerful being that is constantly telling them he cannot intervene in helping Earth's heroes, as it's against the rules of the tournament.
Other gods are forbidden from engaging in one realm's war against another.
He then proceeds to create barriers to protect them. He teleports people all around in order to ambush bad guys. He even teleports the bad guys themselves. He attacks people constantly. No one really knows when he can or cannot intervene. My thoughts are if he could teleport anyone anywhere all along, why didn't he just do that from the beginning to gather Earth's heroes so they could have enough time to train, and he could have saved this guy from dying?
He makes me sick. That guy has no business reffing fights. And I promise you,
You're not going to see him again.
It's kind of like the age-old flaw in Lord of the Rings when the hobbits get rescued by the eagles, and everyone's saying, why didn't they just fly them to Mordor in the first place and drop the ring straight into the mountain, do a little flyby? Also, remember how it's supposed to take lots of training to unlock your arcana? One character, Sonya Blade, gets a mark by killing Kano. She unlocks her powers instantaneously. So much for the struggling and development that comes from working for your arcana. In an earlier part of the movie, Kano takes a knife to the knee, and in the very next scene, he's hiking and fighting like nothing happened. At least Skyrim gets it.
I used to be an adventurer like you, and I took an arrow in the knee.
Another guy's arcana is literally that his dumb little Tom Holland looking prosthetics turn into Arnold biceps. This is not magical. This can be done in a gym, either with hard work and consistency, or if you want to speed up the process a little bit, you can add a little juice to the mix, if you know what I'm saying. But I mean, come on, you have champions over here freezing people, controlling fire, moving at the speed of light, and this guy gets upgraded arms. What a lame superpower. The movie concludes with Scorpion returning from hell and having a showdown with Sub-Zero. Meanwhile, Cole Young is in the background doing pretty much nothing, which is where he shines the most, I think. I found out later that Cole Young isn't even a real Mortal Kombat character. Like, of all the choices they had, they went with making one up. In the end, despite the fact that the whole movie's building up to this big tournament, it never even happens. Why did they make such a big deal out of it? I mean, did they put Billy McFarland from Fire Festival in charge of making the tournament happen in Mortal Kombat? Because if so, he is now 0 for 2. The movie was lackluster at best. It relied far too much on shocking, gory violence to try to make up for a weak storyline. Oh, and you know they're setting up for a sequel, just gearing up for another fat cash grab. I mean, the final scene is the ringleader of the bad guys saying, "Death is only another portal," as he claims the bodies of his fallen goons. AKA, we just spent 2 hours watching the good guys kill the bad guys, and now they're all coming back, baby. Everyone keeps saying, if you turn your brain off, the movie isn't that bad. But guess what? I'm sick of having to turn my brain off to enjoy a movie. And we apes are going to continue to rise up and protest with each steaming turd that Hollywood squeezes out and then watches us mindlessly consume, all the while salivating at the thought of millions of dollars that we are burning for their low-tier trash. Listen up, apes. I need you to like and sub to the channel. Please comment too, Be an ape for once in your life and do the right thing. On top of that, I need you to never forget that there is an ape inside each of us. And sometimes, well, you just gotta let that thing out. Thanks for watching.